Hello, everyone. This is Tracy, and I am going live today and hoping that we are going to have some fun sewing tonight. If you have joined, if you could just drop a little comment and let me know you're there, that would be amazing. And so, what I am personally working on tonight is some hexagons. I dropped a video on Monday about sewing hexagons by machine, and so that's my project for this evening. And uh, it's going to be totally fun. So I would also love to know what you're working on if you're joining me as well. I could see that there are a few people there. I think that it hasn't quite connected yet. Oh, there it goes. Hello, Sandra. Thank you so much for joining. It's always so sweet to see your name pop up in the comments. Are you working on anything tonight, or are you, um, is it still early where you are? Hey, Shannon, thank you so much for joining. Aren't you a sweetie? I hope that you are doing well and I'm not interrupting your work day. Please tell Keenan I said hello and give him a hug from me. Oh my goodness, a little mushroom cap. I've been following your videos for years. Oh my goodness, all the way from Malaysia. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining. And Siberian Wind, I'm working, fixing an error in my pattern I'm publishing this year. Oh my goodness, that is so stressful. I know it very well. What it's like to be figure out that there's a problem and then have to try and fix it. Hey, Mary Rose. So nice to see you again. Shannon, you're absolutely right. This is way more fun, but only if you're sewing too. So, Shannon, let's see, Shannon, how long have we known each other? How long have you since you started dating Keenan? So I know Shannon's husband for ooh, a really, really long time. Her husband went to school with my oldest, and Shannon just got married last year, so that was pretty exciting. But the wonderful thing is that I've known Keenan for years, but he married a quilter. So how awesome is that, right? Pretty fantastic. So so I decided that I was going to start working on some of my 2018. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so that's amazing. So that has been quite a while. Holy. Um, so I decided tonight I was going to work on a second English paper piecing by machine, of course, um, Christmas stocking. And I showed these on Monday's video where I actually had two rosettes, well, one full rosette, one partial. And the plan was for them to sort of nest together like so. And I've got three of the rosettes. Oh, here's the other one. And I want them to essentially, go like that so that there's only one ring of white because I just thought since it's a small project, two rings of white at this size hexagon would be a little bit much. And I just realized that I don't have any prepped um, hexagons in this white fabric. I know I've got more of the fabric, but it's not prepped, and so I'm kind of bummed. I'm gonna continue to dig through my little bucket over here as I'm sorting colors. I might just start working on something else. Oh, Mary Rose, you're working on making hexagons too. Excellent. That's fun. Lord knows I love doing hexagons. I love gluing them. I've always loved gluing them, well, or prepping them. It's totally fun for me to do that. Um, but I really needed to find a different way to join them because it just drove me crazy to sit there and hand do it. And that was even really before I had hand issues. I did all of my quilting by hand when I first started quilting, And, that I did all hand quilting. I did a lot of hand piecing. I did applique by hand. I did everything by hand. And I don't know. I think maybe I just got burnt out a little bit, or I just like the speed of doing it by my machine. And there's so many fun ways to do things that, you know, it just became the way I wanted to do it. Oh, Siberian wind, you're doing flying geese. Lots of geese. Excellent. What technique do you use for doing flying geese? Do you just do stitch and flip, or do you do four at a time, or anything like that? I'm always curious because I tend to like stitch and flip, but I want it to be faster. So I try to do it by the four at a time method. I mean, especially if they all need to match anyway. It's much easier that way, but, yeah. So, I'm curious. I'm just always curious what way people love to like to do a certain technique because 'cause we're all different, right? Alright. I have 2 different fabric lines in this bin. One's a Moda and one is a Benertex, and I when I originally started doing these, I was working for the magazine and, I had to keep all the fabric sort of separate. And now I've realized I started to pull some hexagons apart or little rosettes apart because I had put one collection with another collection. And now I'm like, I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to worry about that anymore. So I could just put what makes me happy together. So that's my plan going forward is I'm just going to mix and match as I see fit. Let's see. The majority of the pattern is stitch and flip. It kind of has to be that way on this one. I totally get that because sometimes, it's scrappy or it just, they don't, or they need to match up with other parts. So I completely understand that. I love the look of hexagon piecing by machine too. They're beautiful both ways, hand or by machine. I agree. I agree. And it's, if you love doing it by machine, any of you, more power to you. I think it's awesome. I certainly used to love doing everything by hand. It just was so relaxing to me, and in some ways, it still is. Like I still love to hand bind, but certain things I just want to be done quicker. I think it maybe came down to the fact that sometimes I just don't have enough time to sew. That's why I started this channel. I started this channel just so that I could get things done for a change and actually put myself on kind of a deadline. So there you go. And speaking of, so, y'all, I'm so new to this YouTube thing. I always forget to ask people to like the post. I forget to ask them to share it if they think if you have any friends that you think might like the channel, please go ahead and share it with them. I would so appreciate it. Um, YouTube has been really great in getting my channel out, but it has slowed down definitely. And I don't know if that's just because I'm doing different things or which it could be because I'm still learning everything about the YouTubes, at least from this side of the YouTubes. So it's so different and so new, and so thus I forget to say things like, "Please like the video, share with your friends." Oh, I have a list today actually because I have a couple of things I wanted to tell you about. And one of them has to do with the links that are in bio or in below. And I have shared a few links for you that are for different stores. So I've shown you some pickle pie designs, and there's a link where you can get 10% off for anything that you buy in from Pickle Pie Designs. Of course, I get a little bit of a little bonus from all of these links, but it's not very much, so it just helps me out so I can continue to make videos like this. and helps to pay for my new lights that I bought so I can finally actually film at night, which is nice. Um, and the other link that is in bio for most of my videos is actually from the store Linda's. Now, I do some work for Linda's, and they've got a really wonderful affiliate program. But if you don't know Linda's, they are a store in Texas. They have been in business since the mid 90s, and we're the first Gamel dealership. They don't sell long arms any longer. However, they sell everything that you would need. When I started with them over a year ago, I guess, they really were still very much a long arm supply company, but they have completely evolved to have everything to do with sewing and quilting supplies. And there is a link for you that you get 10% off if you want to try them. They still specialize in batting and have the best prices on batting around. So if you need to stock up before the holidays, you might want to get on their list so that you can know when they've got some good sales coming up. Currently, they've got, let me think, the sale right now is up to 35% off, depending upon the brand of batting that you buy, but they carry all kinds of brands of batting and all sizes of packages and rolls and all of that. And if you're a long armor, they actually have a business to business program where you can get a discount on buying batting. So it's not completely wholesale, but it's much better than buying it at retail. So wanted to let you know about those things. Let me look at my notes. Ah, all right. So next question for you all is I had two people comment about being sort of newish quilters or just talking about the first quilts that they've made, the first few quilts that they've made, and being very disappointed in the colors that they chose, or the fabrics and how they went together. And I it kind of made me sad a little bit. I did my best to sort of comment and give them some support and say that, that happens. Like I still sometimes make a quilt and I think it's going to look, the colors are going to look fabulous together or the prints are going to look fabulous together. And sometimes it's just a little off. Or sometimes I just don't love it as much as I thought I was going to love it. And so I had an idea. Now, I totally meant to grab Terry's book. But if you had listened to the podcast, you would know Terry Lucas because she was actually a guest at least twice on the podcast, but we talked about her a lot. Lori, she was a real good friend of actually Lori Ginger and Heise. And but I've known Terry for something like 12 years now, and we talk almost every day. She wrote a book called, gosh, off the top of my head, um, I'm gonna just look up the name because I'm on the spot and I totally just blanked. But she really specializes in color theory, and one of the things that was really amazing about her book is that she actually talks about the way that thread even interacts with the fabric in your quilt. And it, oh, there was the book. Because it's got a long name, so I don't want to get it wrong. Color, Thread, and Free Motion Quilting. Learn to stitch with reckless abandon. I can always get to learn to stitch with reckless abandon, but I always mess up the part that's color, thread, and free motion quilting. But I just love that name. And she um, so she wrote this really wonderful book that really made a big impact on me because I had thought about, the color wheel. I'm not really well versed in it, to be perfectly honest. I know how to sort of pick colors a little bit. And I certainly get ideas when I look at other people's quilts and quilts that I see online. And if I really love it, I look at how the fabric sort of plays together. And I thought that she might be a fun person to have on as a guest. We're gonna figure out if either she'll be a guest on a live or if I'll just film with her one day and see if, I can ask questions. So, if that would be something that you are interested in, would you mind leaving a comment below and letting me know if you think that would be, helpful? And also, if you have any questions about color that I can ask her, that would be amazing. Just drop the comment below and let me know. Okay, let me catch up here. So Stitchy Girl says, I love the paper flying geese paper from Fat Quarter Shop. I actually have used that before. It works really well. I'm not a huge fan of paper piecing, but I love the perfection of it. And so I just hate pulling out the papers, to be perfectly honest, but I have used those papers and think they're great. The Siberian Wind says, I usually recommend the Quilter's Color Scheme Bible. It gives so many examples and talks about how to pick colors. That's amazing. I will look for that book because I don't think I've got that one. I've got so many books. It's silly. It's so silly. And you also said it would be nice to see what she has to say. Okay, great. I definitely, I think it would be helpful. I always learn something from it. And on her channel, she actually, um, I, I hope I'm not spilling the beans, but she's going to have Joan Wolfram as a guest on her channel. Her channel is Terrific Creations. Just Terrific Creations with Terry as it. Um, Question from Shannon would be, what is your favorite unexpected color combination? Such a good question. Oh my gosh. I have an idea of like what I think her unexpected color combination might be. I know she just loves color. And as a matter of fact, she just recently got new glasses and she got like bright blue glasses. And she still has her old glasses, which were like kind of bright red pink. And I think that's awesome. And it's funny because I tend to go the opposite. Like I tend to not wear color just because I'm surrounded by color every day. But then again, I just always liked black. And blame it on growing up near New York and also, being a goth kid. So it's a rare day when I wear pink like this. So I'm actually, um, it's funny because I ordered this shirt. It's pink. This one was so this is Christmas shirt. I can't back up far enough, but I showed it in the video on maybe last week. No, maybe this week. But I started to wear my Christmas stuff and get in the spirit so that I could get some of these gifts done. Um, Siberian Wind says one thing that trips up a lot of new quilters crafters when you've got strong patterns, how do you pair them with other strong patterns? And how do you know when it's too much? Oh my goodness, that is definitely a good thing. And honestly, I was lucky in that I learned pretty early on about scale. And so I can often figure out if the scale of the print is right, then it will work as long as the colors are sort of jiving. But Lord, I remember making so many mistakes and things like that. Or if you order fabric online, sometimes you can't tell the scale by the images online or even the color sometimes, and you'll get them, they'll arrive, and you're like, oh no, that doesn't go. Now what do I do? Just me? I don't know. That happens to me quite a bit. And, even with um, working in I have one UFO. I'll get to it. I know I'll get to it at some point. But I'll show you that the reason it's not done is because of that very reason is I picked a fabric that I thought would look pretty out towards the edges of and it was part of the collection, so you would think that it would like all go, but with the scale of the patch, if that makes sense, it was sort of um, it was the what are they called? Like the triangles at the edge of the quilt. But even though it wasn't like setting triangles, it was a big star is what the quilt is, but it's a really giant star, and so there were so I guess they are technically setting triangles, I guess, technically. And, my light went out. Oopsie, let me fix that. And, the, um why do I always have something that goes wrong? I guess it's better than me, like, going off the screen and then not being able to figure out how to get the screen back. But, yeah, so when I did the really big triangles, it just doesn't look quite right, and I can't decide if I need to unpick it all and get a different fabric, or if I need to just get over it and move on and learn from it the next time, you know? So Mary Rose says, I probably couldn't help but learn as I've let designers' collections guide me. That often works, honestly, as long as the designers are quilters, you know? Sometimes there are some really fabulous designers out there, but they're not necessarily quilters. And so they don't necessarily think about how the colors or the prints go together, if that makes sense. So that's anyway, that's one of the things that I've noticed. Um, Let's see. Siberian Wind says, when I see new quilters pulling fabrics, they frequently love three or four big, bold patterns and they pair them together without realizing it's going to blend with each other. and, then, and then she said, it's YouTube. If something doesn't go crazy during your live, are you really live? So true. So true. I've watched enough lives to know that it happens, you know? Um, but yeah, that's really true. Worked in stores, two different stores. I guess it was two. Trying to think, two different stores in different states, and I agree with you. Um, depending upon who you are, you're attracted to those bold prints, or you just think that the colors are really pretty, and maybe they match, but maybe the scale is not right. And so I can understand that. And as a newbie, how would you know, right? Because you don't realize that. I'm trying to think if I've got a fabric near here. When you've got sort of a big scale, it might have blue in the background, but it might have, white and red flowers on it. And when you cut it small, you might not get that blue, and that's what you're anticipating that it's going to show. And until you do that, you don't know, do you? So it's just one of those that happens, right? Um, Siberian Wind says, without seeing your quilt in question, one suggestion is to border your triangles with a calm fabric, then piece that at the correct size into the spots. I'm trying to think if I understand that. So is to border your triangles. Oh, I see. Yeah, but I still would have to take it apart. And so at that point, do I take it apart and pick a different fabric? Which might be the solution. It depends upon how much it bothers me when I finally get around to it. It is a Halloween quilt, so I've got time. I probably won't get to that one until at least next summer. But it is a nice big quilt. It's a really, I mean, it's a really pretty quilt, and it was all art gallery. The Spooky and Sweet, was that the first collection of that? And so the print in question I absolutely adore. It is that they kept it for at least two or three of the collections. And it was the one that was sort of like a charcoal gray in the background, and it had beautiful like boho flowers and little spider webs, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so I love it. The question is, do I love it with the rest of the prints that I chose? So, that kind of stuff just happens. And, even a person who's been quilting as long as I have makes those mistakes sometimes, especially like I said, I was looking at, I think I had the catalog, but, the fabrics on different pages. I didn't want to cut apart the catalog and like put it together. So I really wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do and or how the colors would go with each other. And I remember wondering if that print was going to be too much for the border, but I I didn't have a sense of how big the triangles were because, of course, I'm looking at a quilt pattern and it's picture's this big. And I wasn't really thinking about the fact that I was, cutting out 18-inch squares and then cutting those. So, yeah. So it's all about scale sometimes. And we do what we could do. So, yeah. So I think it could be helpful to have Terry on as a guest, and I think she would have fun with it too. Uh, she'll just, I mean, she geeks out on color, and so it's kind of fun. And I've I enjoy hearing what she says because I learn something every single time. Every single time. I just You just never know. All right, so I'm gonna start working on a little hexagon, but I'm like absolutely in love with these little little snowmen. So I think I'm gonna pick some colors to go as the flower around him, and I might do green. I'm just not sure. Maybe green. That would be pretty. I am curious if I'm gonna ask like a fun question of some sort as soon as I my brain starts kicking in. But um, how how long did it take for you to start feeling comfortable about choosing color? Maddie Curte, how are you? That is so nice to see you pop up here. Does everyone know Maddie Curte? Badass quilter. So nice to see you. Welcome to my studio. I was actually thinking about you today because I've got um I've got Gladys right here and I was trying to decide where I was going to put the patch because I need to put her on my maybe my jacket. I think I've got a denim jacket that I can put her on. That would be fun. So I just wanted to give her a little shout outs and let you know I was thinking of you. That's amazing. So we're talking about color, Maddie, and we're talking about when people who so there were a few people. I'm going to backtrack just slightly and say that there were a few people who left comments on videos that I felt just so bad about because they were sort of newish quilters and they made quilts that they weren't happy with because they just, chose the wrong colors or maybe the wrong prints. And so it was just, I felt bad for them, but I want to encourage them and I want to give them some support. So we are definitely like, we're talking about maybe having Terry Lucas on as a guest so she can talk about her experiences with color and her book a little bit. But I know you're really good with color too, and you're really bold with color. You're not afraid of using any color. I mean, look at your sewing room for one. It's just, really bright green and black and so pretty. So, all right. So that's my question. Sandra says color gets the credit, but value does the work. Very, very true. Alex Anderson says that a lot. Siberian Wind says, I worked for Bernina inside of a Hancock Fabrics. I learned so much about color theory through my own mistakes and through the combination that others made. Very, very true. Yes. And Maddie said, love color thinking. Such a great topic. I think that you can never talk about it enough because I mean, I've been quilting for 30 years now and I feel like I'm still learning. And so here's one of the things. So I remember back, gosh, I was working for Generation Q at the time, and I really didn't know who I was as a quilter. Like I had been quilting for a while, but I'm very much I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna dabble in that, I'm gonna try applique, I'm gonna try hexagons by machine, I'm gonna do this over here, I'm gonna do that over there. I just love trying different techniques. And one of the things that helped me was I went on Pinterest. Now, Pinterest is kind of lame these days with all the like AI stuff. So there's a lot of fake things on Pinterest. Back then, it was like amazing, but you can still do this. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Pinterest. Um, I created a board that was I think I called it, like, just my style or something like that, and every time I came across a quilt that I was like, "Wow, I love that quilt," I put it on my board, and after a while, I started to get a sense of what I liked. I like a lot of color, I like scrappy, I like, um I like bold prints, but I also really, really like traditional patterns paired with like really modern fabrics. And so those were some of the things that I discovered about myself. But it's one of those ways that you can sort of get a sense of like what you love without anything getting, you don't ruin any fabric, you don't waste any time. Well, you might waste a little time getting lost on Pinterest, but it's certainly less time than you would if you were working on a really big quilt, right? And it helps you to figure out the color combinations that you like for sure. It also just gives you inspiration because sometimes I love a color combination, but it's not something that I would make. It wouldn't make me happy to make it, but I still love it. And so it gives you, an easy way to sort of test those things out. Let's see, Sandra said, "I feel that there's always more to learn about color." Always, always. That's why I said in Terry's book, that was one of the things that I had never even it never even occurred to me to think about the fact that thread interacts with the color in the fabric. And so sometimes you think that, a color of thread might, look a certain way and it totally falls flat or it stands out too much. And that was just one of those things that just kind of went. So yeah. So we could talk about this all, didn't we? Yeah, totally, totally fun and an awesome way to spend the time talking about all these really colors. But see, we can talk about fabric all day too. You know, I'd love to know who your favorite fabric designer is, if you've got one, because it was funny. I got invited to, when I was living in Colorado, I got invited to a friend's like retreat for the day, like her guild. It's not really her guild, she has a group of quilters that get together and it's unofficial. And she invited me to come out for the day. They were going to a retreat. And I got to, hang out and sew with all these ladies. And I was amazed because she and I worked together on magazines. And so we knew all the designers, all the fabric houses that. And it was really interesting to me to hear people talk or see fabric and not know what it was. And so I'm like, oh, not everyone knows these things. And so that's okay. So let's see. Maddie said, I think that quilts that have true energy often use some uncomfortable colors. Oh, that's an interesting thought there, Maddie. Uncomfortable colors that are maybe don't match or clash, or maybe you need to expand upon that because that's that's something. Now, the only way I think of things like that is that I know if I don't like a color, it's or a fabric that's in a quilt, it's just not cut small enough. So, oh, Shannon's actually answering my question. All right, top three: Alexia Bag, Kimberly Kite, and Tula Pink. I would never have guessed that you like Tula Pink, Shannon. Not one little bit. Shannon actually has a Tula Pink sewing machine, so so that's awesome. Thanks for answering that question. Yep, and the Ruby Star girls are just amazing as well. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I still am waiting for Maddie to tell me about uncomfortable colors and what that means. All right, you guys are gonna have to let me know if it's too loud if I stitch a little bit with my little hexagons here. I decided that I was going to surround my little my little guy with some pretty poinsettias. I thought that would be nice. Not quite right. Oh, and I have another question too. So I have another question. For those of you who have been watching the videos, has there been something that you would like to see in videos coming up? Um, so the plan for next week is I'm hoping to have at least one stocking done and preferably two. And so we'll probably go through that, but I also want to sort of circle back to UFO thing and talk a little bit about like how I am keeping track of where my UFOs are. But I'm hoping to get a bunch done. I had a crazy busy work day today, and tomorrow I actually have a super light day. So I get to play tomorrow. So the plan is to get some sewing done and some filming done. Okay, so Maddie has responded. I think of uncomfortable colors as colors that people often will say are ugly, quote unquote, and yet they can also ground a design and give it cohesion, or sometimes they are discord to make the other better. I love that. So the interesting thing about that is I don't really use brown, like chocolate brown. I like brown, and I certainly have quilts that have brown in them. Actually, one of my UFOs has brown, and that's probably why I don't really work on it very much. However, the same friend that invited me to the the retreat loves Tula pink fabric, so bright Kaffe, bright Tula. She loves all that, and she would do these intricate, like we're talking like Sarah Filkey applique, incredible pieced and applique combination quilts that are huge with chocolate brown in the background and bright Tula Kaffe fabrics for the piecing and for the applique. Stunning, stunning. It grounded those bright, bright colors. And so I don't know if that quite counts as being ugly, but but that's one of those things. And it's funny to me because you're talking about ugly colors and how many people, have one of those colors that they hate, like orange or I don't know, chartreuse or, like really like neon colors. But then other people really love those. But if you do nothing but those like really bright colors, I agree. I have to agree with you. Yeah. That sometimes you just need something that sort of is that grounding that makes the quilt cohesive and really come together. That's awesome. That's a really now I'm gonna be thinking about that all night, Maddie. I really am because it's just one of those things that like really you don't think about until you think about it. If that makes sense. All right, so let me know if this is too loud. If I hit the right pedal, it'd be helpful. I have dual pedals on my sewing machine, and so every once in a while I reach down with my foot and I hit the left little pedal, which is a pedal that it's just to cut my thread and lift my foot. And I do it all the time. It's very silly. Oh, Maddie said, "Yep, just what I mean. You're a smart cookie." I try. I try. It's been a long day though, so there's, only so many brain cells left today. As you can probably tell, I feel like I'm looking a little tired, but it was a busy, busy day, and I ended up opting to work a little bit longer so that I could work less tomorrow, if that makes sense. Sometimes you just gotta do it, and today was that day. So, yeah. Oh, have fun with the kitten. The kitten is super sweet. You have a wonderful night too. So Maddie does some really amazing fostering work for kittens in her area in Tennessee, and so I've learned a lot through her. But also this past year, we actually adopted. We adopted two kittens, and then we rescued two. So we are full up of kittens over here, and yeah, it's been really a wonderful blessing. I had kittens when I was little and really became a dog person. I always had dogs too, but I always wanted dogs because my husband traveled a lot and it made me feel a little safer to have a dog. And so the last time I had a cat was um, 2018. Yeah. And so we moved, and my oldest took our cat, who was basically their cat anyway. Who am I kidding? But didn't have any cats. And then last year we lost two dogs in the same year. One was 17 and one was 12. And in between the the dogs dying, we ended up adopting two kittens because the one dog that was still alive really loved cats. And we thought, okay, if we get a cat, um, Tessie will be fine. Like she'll be happy. And and then Tessie died. And I swear if I didn't have those cats, I would have been beside myself. They we kept saying like they saved our lives because you can't be sad and have a kitten. You just can't, it's not possible. So anyway, yes, Tank. Tank is definitely an A plus cat, although he was kind of a nightmare when we first got him because he was pretty much feral, and yeah, but he's a sweetie pie now. So he's a sweet guy and an indoor cat. When we first got him, we couldn't even keep him inside the house. So yeah, he is a crazy cat for sure. But now we've got all kinds of cats, and you guys can tell because I've got one of the newest kitten. It like absolutely is obsessed with quilts. So the pink Halloween quilts that I finished is his favorite. He just absolutely loves it. And he started when I was hand quilting or hand binding the quilts and it was on my lap. He started climbing into it and like getting all cozy in it and then trying to attack my hands as I was working. And he and now he just will snuggle up on it wherever it is. And I think it's adorable. Shannon says bossy mean cats are some of my favorite. To be honest, I think they're so funny. Yeah, they're funny. We've got one that's bossy and mean right now, Lucy, and she, her, our neighbors, of our a place we when we moved last year, um, they moved away and they left her behind. So we feel bad for her, but she is just the silliest thing. But anyway, back to quilting talk. All right, so I at least got this partially done, but that's kind of cute. I think that would be kind of cute. If it ends up in a stocking, I don't know, or if it will end up in just some other project, I don't know either, but it's cute and I like it. I love this technique so much as I think it's just so fast. It's very satisfying to just get the hexagons piece together and move on. So for sure. So what time is it? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we'll probably sew for a little bit longer and and then hop off. And so if anybody has any fun things to talk about, you can let me know what you're working on. I'm not as I watch, Power Tools with Threads sometimes. I don't know if you guys have ever caught her lives, but she, like, does a whole class each morning practically, and I'm always so impressed because, I mean, that's really something to, like, just go on the fly, especially with all the live technology and having, to do so many different things. And she switches cameras and she does the whole 9 yards. So maybe someday I'll get good like that and be able to switch cameras because that would be fun. But I still haven't figured out how to set up like two actual cameras on this platform yet. I tried before because I remember last week I got a comment from someone that because I was using a different camera, the where the quilt was behind me was switched, and I think they were distracted and maybe a little annoyed. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be the same way because I wasn't able to set up my usual camera, um, just because of my crazy day part of it. But so maybe I'll try and work on that tomorrow and see if I can figure out how to make that work. But that would be amazing to be able to like actually show you guys some things and switch cameras and do all those fun things. But then again, it's also just nice to sit here and talk with you guys and feel like I have company in my sewing room tonight. So Newman says, I don't know how to adjust Restream. Oh, Streamlabs. Oh, gotcha. I've not used that one. I've used StreamYard before, but not Streamlabs. There's so many different things, you know? Oh, you've got three cameras. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I think that I'm not even sure I could handle three cameras. Maybe someday. Maybe someday that'll be a thing. Oh, it's free. Can you stream to multiple platforms at the same time? Because at this point, I'm not even streaming to like Instagram. I used to do lives for keepsake quilting, and we used to go to Facebook and Instagram, and I guess it depended upon the project, but and sometimes the app like KQ Live, which was a comment sold app, and um, and so it was fun. Um, but sometimes the comments, whoo, they would go quickly, but it was fun for sure. And I haven't even started to do that yet. I really should. I should connect it to Facebook, which, by the way, I've sort of reinstated my So Supportive Facebook page. Um, and I'm working on what I want to do for a group because I know some people mentioned that they would love to sort of be part of a group, and um, and I think that that would be fun, and I would love it if people could, like, share photos of what they're working on so that we could all be really working on UFOs together. Oh, you don't try to stream to multiple at the same time. Yeah, that's the one thing I like about Restream is that I can, but it is paid. So, I'm currently using the free version, which is fine. But that's part of the reason why I haven't decided, I haven't started streaming to multiple places. But I feel like it would be helpful since most people know that know me from Instagram. So, okay. So, one done. I maybe should have flipped that one around, but that's okay. It's still cute. I like it. I keep it. I just love that little snowman face. It's adorable. Little vintage Christmas thing. I've been on a vintage Christmas kick for the past year or so. Let's see. To stream to multiple platforms, Streamlabs does support that, and it's paid too. Yearly is cheaper than monthly. Yeah. I actually just found a program that I want to look into a little bit more, that actually does some editing for you. And it was so silly. The the monthly was $8 more than the yearly, and I just thought $8 a month, like, that's a lot. It was almost $100 more for, the annual versus the monthly. Oh, hi, Michelle, waving from Pennsylvania. Nice. Where do you live in Pennsylvania? My dad used to live in Blakesley, and we have some friends. I wanna say they're out near Wilkes-Barre, but no, maybe they're in Scranton. I can't remember. It's been a really long time since I've driven out to see them, but I used to drive through Pennsylvania all the time when I used to go see my family because I grew up in New Jersey. And like I said, when my parents got divorced, a few years after that, my dad moved to Pennsylvania. He always loved the Poconos, and so that's where he wanted to live. So yeah, so know Pennsylvania pretty well. Yeah, use CapCut for editing, but can record whatever I want in Streamlabs and then edit. Oh, that's cool. I think I can record in Restream, but I haven't done that. So yeah, I usually use iMovie, but what I was liking about the program that I saw, it was called, what was it called? Descript. You can actually, it automatically creates a transcript as soon as you drop into the program, and then you can actually edit your video by editing the words. And I think that's kind of cool because then I can take out all of the ums that I say because sometimes I say Oh, Lehigh Valley. Yes. Yes, nice. Hour outside of Philly. Know Philly well too. My brother was stationed at the Naval Yard in Philly, and my other brother went to the University of the Arts back when before it was the University of the Arts. And they both were there at the same time. So we used to go all the time to Philly. I loved it. Yeah. So Lehigh Valley, that's nice. All right. Well, I am probably going to be wrapping this up shortly, but I'm willing to still chat for a few. Oh, I didn't know that CapCut even had a paid ver well, I guess I knew that they had a paid version because you could get the watermark taken off of it, but I didn't know that you could edit by captions. That's interesting. Fascinating. I just find it fascinating. I think it just would be so much easier. Me, I'm like going through it, manually cutting everything out. Like, I think that would give me like a few hours back each week. Would be nice. So I'm very much contemplating using something different, some kind of different software where I can actually edit by the captions. I think that'd be so much easier. So that's my thought anyway. I'm gonna do a little more research and decide where I'm gonna go with that because I think that could be a little bit more fun and easy. So, and right now I kind of just want things to be a little, easy. It has been so amazing joining the YouTube community. Um, just I mean, I keep saying this, I feel like I'm a broken record, but, it has been so nice, you know? Um, just people that I've followed for years that, I didn't know they knew who I was, and they've commented, and just all the amount of people from podcast days that, have commented and said how much they loved the podcast or what it meant to them and things like that. Actually, speaking of the podcast, I should have Lori on sometime. I don't know if I could get Ginger. Ginger's kind of got a crazy busy schedule, but I haven't chatted with her in a while. But maybe I could have Lori on sometime as well. For those of you who miss the Quilt and Tell podcast, but yeah, she would be fun to have on and talk about color too because she loves color. She loves purple. She loves purple, and she also loves piecing her backs of her quilt. She has more fun with the back of the quilt than she does the front of the quilt. If you're free November 22nd and 23rd, I've got a virtual retreat going on. Oh, really? Oh, that would be fun. I am not doing anything, so other than prepping for Thanksgiving dinner, that will be the only thing that I will be working on around that time. So yeah, so shoot me the details, and actually, why don't you just tell us all in the comments Oh, yeah, Lori's amazing. She said she's my kind of gal. She loves purple. So, yeah, tell us all about your retreat, so that people reading the comments can also know about it, and I'll read it out loud as well. And if you've got a link, feel free to drop it in the comments so that people can join you if they feel so inclined. That's amazing. Love a good virtual retreat. I've actually thought about doing those myself because, you know, at some point I feel like it might be kind of nice. So here's my thought. I'm gonna backtrack. So one of the things that I had thought about was over the years, one of the reasons why that I am behind on so many different projects is that um, one, kids were younger. I didn't allow myself time to work on things. In more recent years, I just didn't take the time because I had so much going on with work and things like that. And oh, you'd have to be a moderator to drop the comment. Oh, gotcha, with a link. Okay. Well, if you tell me more about the virtual retreat, I can read it out loud. Can you do that? All right. So back to my thought. So sometimes I have felt over the years that I don't know, I just didn't put my hobbies first. Or if I was working on one of the magazines, I was just so tired at the end of the day. Like I had been quilting in my brain all day, editing patterns and doing that kind of stuff that sitting down at the machine was like sometimes the last thing I wanted to do because I was working on like such complicated patterns. And so I had an idea probably back, gosh, during COVID, maybe during lockdown. A friend of ours, a really dear friend of ours, was in a group. She was a writer, and she was in a group that would um, meet online, and it essentially was like an accountability group that forced them an hour, like every Wednesday or something like that, where they would all come in to the Zoom or whatever platform they used. There was a person who was the moderator, and they would talk for a few minutes, and then everyone would have to sit for 45 minutes and write. And so basically, it was just like a silent Zoom. But I thought it might be kind of fun to do something like that if there were enough people who wanted accountability to make sure that they worked on their stuff for X amount of time per week, an hour a week, whatever it was, or that they would progress each week going forward. So that's just a thought that I had. And so I don't know if anyone's interested in something like that. I know that would have helped me. Okay. So Siberian Wind says, sure. It opens at 6 a.m. Mountain on Saturday, the 22nd, and runs through 7 p.m. Mountain Sunday, which is the 23rd. You can come and go as you need to. We keep the conversation topics away from religion and politics. Probably a good idea. You can sew whatever you like, ask questions, etc. We have some who stay up all night, and we have others that come in for an hour when they have time. I love that. Oh, that's great. What a fabulous idea. Is there a fee for joining the virtual retreat? And if so, how much is it? I love that. What a great idea to sort of do just a thing where you can get together and sew. That's kind of exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes you just want a little bit of company. And sometimes I will say that I, like, will just set up a Zoom with a friend and work on stuff, but then we get talking like this. So, yeah, but I think that's a great idea. All right, so I'm probably gonna wrap this up in just a few more minutes. So if anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the comments, in the comment section, and I'll be happy to get to them. Otherwise, I hope that you had fun tonight, and I am looking forward to seeing you next week. Like I said, I will have some finished Christmas stockings next week. I'm still, I think I've decided that I'm gonna go with the AccuQuilt dye, just because I've got so many to do. I think that would be faster. But I also just really like the shape of the foot. Just gotta say, I really, really like it. Oh, the cost is just your time to help me know you're a human. I love it. That's wonderful. Okay, so if anyone is interested, read the comments. Do you have a link on your page or anything like that? Where can people go? Oh, you can't tell me. You can't drop a link. But if you can give me a hint where I can send people, that would be. I'll be happy to say it out loud so people know who are just watching and maybe aren't following along with the comments because I know sometimes the comments can go by really fast and I don't always read. I don't always read the comments when I'm watching the replay. You know what I mean? Oh, I live right around the corner from a oh, thank you, Michelle. Have a great night. And thanks, Tracy. That's what she said. So thank you. I live around the corner from a university and I could hear the band playing. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but sometimes the noise over here, I'm sort of not in the city, but also in a city. And so sometimes I can't really control the sound. So I've gotten over that. I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. I'll send you an email link that you can post on your community tab or post out in the perfect. I will do that for sure. And I can certainly share that. That would be great. I'm happy to do that for you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Wow. I wasn't sure I was going to do an hour tonight because it was such a long day, but this was fun. I hope you guys had fun too. And it certainly was nice seeing you all and, seeing people whose names I'm now recognizing all the time and seeing you, Shannon, and everyone else. It's so nice. Um, oh, you know what? You're right. I don't have my email address in my bio. But I'll just give it to you. So it's my last name, first name at gmail.com. So, and Tracy's no E, Tracy. So it's Mooney Tracy at gmail.com. Sound good? So feel free to just email me and you can also just reach out to me on Instagram too. That works as well. Whatever's easiest. Thumbs up indeed. Hi, Mary G. Cool. All right. Well, it's been so much fun. I got one done. One, but I organized. I should show you at least. I should show you what I did this whole time because I was looking down and I was going like this. I sorted all my hexagons. Ooh, as I dropped needles on the floor. I sorted all of my hexagons that were already glued. So now I just got to sort this little bag. But at least now they're sort of loosely colored coded so that I can just reach in and grab some when I want. Mary Rose says the hardest thing about being retired is lack of conversations. Oh, that's why I've stalked you all over the internet. I've always loved listening to you. Oh, you're so sweet, Mary Rose. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I know. And actually I don't think it would be, I feel like I've said this before. So a while back after Lori moved away from Colorado, she moved to Nebraska, and she really had a tough time for a little bit because was making new friends, and people didn't know her, and she hadn't been retired for very long, and so she didn't have anyone to talk to. So we actually started a group that's called Quilters Rule the World and we would have Zooms and we would record them. And if you go over to just search in YouTube for Quilters Rule the World, there are a whole bunch of Zooms that we had and just silly conversations that we had. And there was even one where I surprised everyone by bringing Ginger on and didn't tell anyone that she was going to join us. And so that might give you something to listen to as well. So yeah, I know and you can always reach out to me Instagram, I always respond to people. So so there you go. And bye, Sandra. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I really appreciated all your comments. Those were really good. So, all right. So everybody, I'm out. I'm gonna go get some dinner. I made dinner before and baked it, and it was ready right before. Of course, like 15 minutes before, and it was too hot to eat. So I'm gonna go have some dinner and I will see you all next week. And also, before I go, let me know if this time worked for you. It seems like we probably got about the same number, it seems. But if this is a better time, great. And if you want me to do a little bit earlier in the day, I can do that as well. So, but I'm sort of sticking to doing a live on Thursday and I'm dropping a video on Monday. So let me know. All right. I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for joining me.